Today is Thursday, March the 4th, and we're going to go through a lot of charts today quickly, and we're going to talk about the importance of moving averages and the Ichimoku. I'm taking out a lot of the Fibonacci's because I think other things have come into play. But today wasn't as bad a day as it seems. There were some spots that were bright. Unfortunately, energy was one of those because of the price, and the price of gasoline is going up. Financial services were down. The whole healthcare sector pretty much was down, except for these insurers in here. Industrials were down, but let's look at the advancers and decliners. But to do that, let's look at the New York Stock Exchange only, and you can see that 730 stocks advanced, but 4 times that many declined, which is very similar to what we saw exactly a week ago, but certainly worse than yesterday. The McClellan oscillator has come down to exactly the point that it came to where it was oversold last week, and then it bounced back. If you look at in terms of oversold, we don't get much lower than this, except here, which was October and November of last year. And then, of course, during COVID. Are we really going through another COVID downturn? Well, it sure doesn't look like it if you look at it up here. It certainly hasn't been this kind of accelerated elevator kind of a ride down. So let's take a look at the charts. And as I said, we're going to go through a lot of them. We're going to go through them quickly. The Dow Jones got support on the 50 moving average. The NASDAQ, we said we wanted to look yesterday at the chikou span, and we wanted to watch its reaction with the 50, and it lost the 50, and the price lost the cloud. Could be going down to the 200, which would be 100% Fibonacci. Let's wait and see. The S&P, meanwhile, suffered a 1.3% drop, ended below the cloud level. The low of the day was right here, and we take our green line and we put it there. And you can see that the chikou span would have been just above the 50. So we're going to look tomorrow for the chikou span, because we're going to see the chikou span has been important with other stocks. We're going to watch the chikou span tomorrow, and the 50 moving average. Apple down 2%. Look where its chikou span ended. This is the low of the day, this green line, and the chikou span got support just at the bottom of the cloud. So that's fairly relevant, although the 200 is down below, and there's a 38.2% Fibonacci. I did add some more Apple today because you know what they say, if you liked it at 220 or 230 or 240, you're going to love it at 219. So I bought some at 219. I was at 40% cash, roughly 35% cash going into the week, and I'm starting to deploy some of that, and I'm letting my short calls expire, and I'm not rolling them because they're less attractive to roll at the prices I was rolling them at because of this steep decline. But I did take my square shorts down to 250 when they used to be at 260 and 275. And the premiums have been pretty healthy there. Boulder, BLDR, Builder Supply, still in this up channel. It has not suffered like the rest of the market, and we saw support today on the 50, just above the cloud. But where was the chikou span? The chikou span got support exactly on the top of the candles. Another indication today that the chikou span is something that traders are looking at. Caterpillar down. It's going to become an attractive stock eventually. Deere down $6. Let's look at its Ichimoku. Still way up there, but it's up much higher than its cloud comparative to other stocks. So we could see some pulling back there again. Home Depot, big disappointment. That's a stock that was doing pretty darn well and was channeling along at a high level for a long time. But now let's take a look at the Ichimoku, it's below the cloud. The chikou span has lost the 200. This is a stock that's seriously in trouble, but is going to be, I'm going to get rid of the Fibonacci, is going to be an opportunity for us at some point. What else do we want to look at? Let's take a look at the banks. JP Morgan was down 228. US Bank, the largest regional bank, was down 5%. Certainly doesn't show it there, does it? No, it doesn't. It was only down 0.27%. It was USO, oil, that is up 5% today. And look at how oil has grown. And it's coming up to its highs of last year. And looking out on a bigger scale, oil is definitely going up, and that may not be very good for the stock market. NEO down 8% today, and we're looking at the 200 here as being support. But at one point today where we closed, let's just draw a green line where we closed, and that was the chikou span again touching the bottom of the cloud. Also, we ended up below the 61.8% Fibonacci. Again, I didn't add to NEO, but I added to Apple, and I added to Square today. I added 200 shares of Square, 100 shares of Apple. Plug, down 10%, but look where it stopped. Its green line was the chikou span on the 50 simple moving average, and was exactly the same low that we saw on Wednesday of last week. So that's significant. You could possibly see a bounce there. We didn't talk about the McClellan oscillator, and we should have talked about it early. Yeah, we did, of course. So let's go back to the charts. Boeing, which we haven't looked at in a while, had a day where it engulfed at least two of the previous candles. So that's a bullish signal. PRGS, which we haven't looked at in a while, but you remember after finishing this pattern, we said we were going to take a look at it on this Gartley pattern, because X to A to B made a perfect Gartley. And we said if it comes down to finish C, it could be anywhere in this range, but it would be ideal if it came down to 40.58 and caught a bounce, then C to D would be tradable if you believe that traders are looking at Gartley patterns, and I do. So we'll take a look at that, keeping our eye on PRGS, Progressive Corporation. We had been looking at one time at QuantumScape, and we thought the time to buy that would be when it broke through the cloud at its weakest part. Well, it didn't. It's getting weaker, and it's a good thing we didn't move into that stock. The chikou span itself is pretty hard to see in here, but nonetheless, not a good stock. Now, Square down to 216. What can we divine from this? Well, we've got this gap that was filled a couple of days ago. Let's put in the cloud, and we see support right at the bottom of the cloud. So that is encouraging, and that's why I picked up a couple of hundred shares. It's also right about the low of December 29th, but not as low as we went on January the 27th. Can we find a trend line that might give us some indication that traders are looking at some technical line here where we might see a bounce? Well, we could take this and draw up in here. Let's get rid of the chikou span for a second, or the Ichimoku. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. That would mean we could be coming down a fair bit. If we take a different tack and we take this one, that's a little steep. Don't like trend lines, so I don't see a trend line happening immediately for Square. It's lost the 50. It's coming down to the 200. Its acquisition yesterday of Tidal and putting JC on their board of directors was a stupid move in my opinion, and it deserves to be sold. But also, I think Bitcoin went down, and Square, like Tesla, is moving a bit like Bitcoin. Now, a good stock today was AT&T. Pretty messy chart here. We could take out a lot of the Fibonacci's because this is now just people buying it for the dividend and the relative stability. Because if you look at its movement, let's take a look. Let's take the RSI bars out of there. Let's take the Ichimoku out of here. And you can see relative stability, AT&T, with the market going down. And we had rejection today on the 200 simple moving average. Those are all the stocks I want to go through. We're over 10 minutes now, but you can see Ichimoku, chikou span are the stocks to watch. Are we in for a bounce? Well, certainly the McClellan oscillator suggests that we might have a bounce. Doug Cass today said that yesterday he took off a lot of his shorts, probably wish he had stayed in them. He's got a lot of shorts on Kathy Woods's mutual funds, the ARC mutual funds that have been paying off well. He called that one last week. He says that he took his shorts off because he's looking for a dead cat bounce. Dead cat bounce should happen tomorrow. If we do have a dead cat bounce, then the bulls are definitely in charge, and we could be due for some more pain.